What's going on, Jeromes? We're back. Thanks very much for coming out. Daily Jeromes live stream, 11 a.m. Central Time, Monday through Thursday. Talking Vikings, talking draft, talking nonsense. It's a whole lot of fun. Thank you for coming along. And we're not muted today. It's a lot of fun. All right, so dive into Q&A. We got like 80 of them, so we'll go. Laces out, Dan. The Vikings need safety help, and Justin friggin' Jefferson's older brother, Ricky, is a free agent. Also, Woodlayer, decent return man, LSU. I mean, maybe, because was it Randy Moss's brother, who was an offensive lineman? Like, he got a shot with the Vikings. Where it's not a guarantee that they'll make the roster, but could they get a tryout? Sure. And I do remember Ricky Jefferson. I think he played for the Raiders, I want to say. Plus, I mean, you mentioned his brother Jordan. I mean, Jordan Jefferson was a fun quarterback back in the day at LSU, good old number 9, before Joe Burrow blew up. Zaragoza 44. Would you rather have Antoine Winfield Jr. than Jeff El Jefe Gladney now? No, I'm still going to bet on the cornerback. Like, I get that Winfield was phenomenal in the Super Bowl, even on the dinged up ankle, and he made some big time plays. But I mean, overall, not crapping on Jr., but his season kind of whatever. He's phenomenal box safety, great in the slot as well. But if you ask him for straight up coverage, I'm still betting on the upside of Jeff Gladney because cornerback, especially slot cornerback, is still a more important position than safety. I get it. I get it. Would have been a lot of fun with the legacy, him being a Gopher, and of course, his dad being a Viking back in the day. But I'm still not giving up on Jeff Gladney. I think it's kind of unfair that we're projecting all of that on El Jefe. What's the deal? If Lance is there at 14, do you take him? No trades? Yes. Because then I wouldn't if the Vikings did not have a second round pick and then were really thin in the third and fourth round. But the fact that the Vikings are going to have 6 picks in the third and fourth, yes. Who's that dude? Never forget when Kirk ended Zach Brown's career. All right, so Zach Brown, North Carolina, I want to say linebacker. But he and Kirk were teammates in Washington. And was it last year? Yeah, it must have been last year, where Zach Brown played one game with the Eagles, talk crap about Kirk. Kirk had a phenomenal game against the Eagles, and it was over. Just done. Just finito. Or was it the Titans? No, it was the Eagles. Yeah. George St. Baptiste. 3 guys I really like coming on the... Wait, this question from yesterday. But yeah, Brantley, Leonard Floyd, and John Ross. Yeah. We also got a video coming out tomorrow about 3 value defensive ends that the Vikings should look into as well. Because it's going to be a really interesting free agent year where the market is going to be depressed and not too many teams. I think about half the league is in cap compliance as of right now. So it's going to be interesting because I think there's going to be a lot of guys signing really cheap 1-year deals just to ride out this dip in the salary cap and then get to next year. Landon Prepodnik. What player would you have taken besides Jeff Gladney in last year's draft? I don't know, Cam Dantzler. Wait, we talking about like specifically around there? Everyone's crapping on Gladney. I think Gladney actually had a pretty damn decent rookie year. Certainly had his downs, but I mean, what rookie doesn't? NFL draft. All right, so see here. In the general vicinity, I mean, it could have been worse. The Vikings could have taken Noah Igbinoghene, who was honestly could have been the worst cornerback in the National Football League last year. Or they could have taken Isaiah Wilson. How would you like that one? I think the Titans might actually cut him this year. I don't know, T. Higgins. That would have been gross. Higgins and Jefferson, and then Thielen. Oh my. I guess Xavier McKinney, and then just rescinded Anthony Harris's franchise tag because I don't believe he signed it until May. Man, I really like Robert Hunt though. I mean, Robert Hunt would have been fun. Sure, he could have taken Winfield. Sure, he could have taken Delpit. Hopefully, his Achilles would have held up. But other than that, I guess Jalen did have a better season than El Jefe, for sure. But, of course, you do have the shoulder injury concerns with him. Trevon Diggs had a good season. Would you take a Jalen Hurts? Ooh. I mean, you could, I guess. You can go that route. No, we'll take Ezra at 31. We'll do that. Next up, Mitchell Rauscher. Could you see Parsons going to the Falcons? They need help on the pass rush, and Parsons is more suited for a 3-4 pass rusher. It could really help. I mean, maybe I think he's more a linebacker that rushes the passer as opposed to a pass rusher who plays linebacker, if that makes any sense. But if the Falcons stick and pick at 4, I do think, given that Arthur Smith is an offensive guy, that they'll get him some sort of toy, whether that's a wide receiver, Chase, Devontae, Waddle, Pitts, maybe, or if they go quarterback in the future, if the right guy falls there. I don't necessarily see them taking an off-ball linebacker at 4. If they trade down, sure. If they say they trade down with I don't think they'll trade down with the Panthers. Say they trade down with the Broncos, right? And the Broncos come up to 4, they get a quarterback, and the Falcons are at 9, and Parsons still on board. Yeah, certainly could see that happening. What's the deal? Are you going to stream first round of the draft? We'll see. Angel Dutz Sr. Do you think the Vikings under leadership of No Country Zimmer can reach division supremacy over the Packers? Bears, your thoughts? Yes. Samuel McMullen, with the Vikings apparently sticking with Goff, who do the Lions go with at 7? Ideally, you would get him some help, especially since they're probably going to lose Babytron and Marvin Jones in free agency. So, I mean, Waddle, Devontae Smith, Pitts even. Because if you are going to stick with Goff, give him the best opportunity to succeed. Or do you address the offensive line? Do you get Rashawn Slater at that spot? Yeah. Goat Morrow. I think the Super Bowl shows a great quarterback can overcome an awful offensive line, and how important is it that we use draft to invest in the trenches? Well, I think they knew that beforehand, but yeah, the Chiefs getting exposed. Where yes, I do understand that Laurent Duvernay, whatever, the doctor opted out, and Kelechi Assembly got hurt, and then Mitchell Schwartz had his back issues, and then Eric Fisher got tore up too. But you need depth. You do. And we outlined in a video this morning about the level of offensive line play they just put in front of Mahomes. And it's an extreme example. I mean, they did weather a bunch of injuries, but I mean, if Mike Remmers is your starting left tackle in the biggest game of the season, that's not great. It's not great. So I think that it does emphasize that the Vikings do need to draft well. They do need to retain their guys. I think that spending up in free agency on a guy like Joe Thuney would make a lot of sense. We use the example of the Bucks, where Donovan Smith was a second-round pick, Alex Kappa, Ali Marpet was a second-round pick, Alex Kappa was a third-round pick, Tristan Wirfs was 13 overall, and then they spent up for Ryan Jensen, a free agent from Baltimore. So, yeah, invest in the draft, keep around the guys that are worth keeping, and make sure to keep hammering that depth and getting after it. Brian Banks. Since Zim seems to make playoffs in odd seasons, I'm banking on the Vikings playoff run. I feel like the Vikings will lose the Bucs in the divisional round next year. Thoughts? Super Bowl home boy. Shiver Timbers. Do you think Adrian Peterson, when he eventually decides to retire, will sign a one-day contract with the Vikings to retire with them? No. I don't see that. I think that the relationship between him and the Vikings has gotten better, but no, I don't see that happening. I do think that he will be a Ring of Honor guy down the line, though, and yeah, I think they'll kiss and make up in that regard. Emmanuel S. Which late-round receiver would you rather have, Josh Palmer, Cade Johnson, or Jalen Darden? So Josh Palmer, Cade Johnson, the South Dakota State guy, or Jalen Darden, North Texas. I'm intrigued by Darden. I'm more intrigued by a type this year where it might just be, since it's a copycat league and everyone and their mom is trying to find the next Tyreek Hill, where, so what? Tyreek Hill doesn't run a complete route tree. He runs a 9. He runs a skinny post. He can do all the things that just makes life so much easier for a quarterback in an offense. So guys like Jalen Darden, guys like Smith, guys like Marquez Stevenson, guys like Dwayne Eskridge, where you have undersized wide receivers that just absolutely have the Jets getting after it. Elijah Moore from Ole Miss as well. Be a ton of fun. Mitchell Rauscher. If we do get Patrick Peterson, could you see him having a role like Terrence Newman did for us a few years back when he had a historic defense in 2017? Well, it'd be different because Newman knew the the defense inside and out when he came over. Patrick Peterson would be starting cold. I'm sure he could acclimate very quickly. But Newman, the fact that Newman could knew the defense like the back of his hand, could play inside and outside. That was certainly a plus. I don't think it would be 1-for-1, but I do think Peterson is coming in at a higher talent level than Newman did at that time. Even though Peterson's decline a little bit sharper, even though Newman was just sort of like that. Max Kallenberg, what do you think the Vikings would do at 14 if I think it's pay Barmore or Rousseau or O-line? All right, so say those three jabronis and Darisaw were on board at 14. Pending what happens in free agency, I would take Darisaw. Darisaw's damn good, man. I understand that. I don't get why Darisaw isn't getting more hype, because yes, you do have Penei Sewell. Yes, you do have Rashawn Slater in this draft, but Darisaw is just so damn. Save your bandwidth. No, keep streaming. Like Darisaw is absolutely rock solid. He's phenomenal in pass sets. He's got great footwork. He's got phenomenal size. He gets after it in the running game. I don't know. I don't understand why he's more hyped. And it's going to take a lot for him to get by the Chargers at 13, since they clearly need offensive line help. But yeah, even with Pay and Barmore and Rousseau on board, give me Darisaw. Give me. And then Ezra, you'll figure it out at guard. Kai Amistad. What level of job security would you say Zimmer has? Low. Because he got a mulligan last year because of COVID and because he just signed that 3-year extension. But paying out 2 years is a lot different than paying out 3 years. It just is. And I think the Vikings not only have to make the playoffs, I think they have to win a playoff game for Zimmer to stick around. Sam Heckel. Did you hear about the passing of Wes from the Around the NFL podcast? Yeah, it's very sad. So Chris Wesseling, the mailman. Yeah, great writer, great media personality guy. He was great on NFL Network. And so there are sports writers, and then there are writers who just happen to write about sports. I think Wes was the latter. Every single thing of his I read makes you think, and it's just really sad. Like, he kicked cancer's ass the first time around, and then unfortunately ended up passing away. Just married his lovely wife Lakeisha, and they just had their their son. So just really sad. It's just really sad. Like Wes was a good one. It's unfortunate. Ty Smith. Patrick Peterson to the Vikings one time to return punts, of course. So in the video of Patrick Peterson, the Vikings, he's certainly not the Patrick Peterson of yesteryear. He's not the all-pro. He's not the Pro Bowl guy anymore. But could he be serviceable as a cornerback too? Yes. Could he add value as a punt returner, even though he doesn't have the same speed, track star speed that he did to start his career? But could he track down punts? Yes, even though he hasn't fielded a punt, I believe, since 2017 or 2018. But he could certainly provide some value and some leadership back there. Now, don't overpay. No. Flight Reacts. If you were to take 2 all-time Vikings, put them on today's team with today's technology, muscle building knowledge, who would they be? All right, so we can take like smaller guys, because like Alan Page was like 245 pounds back in the day. Take McDaniel. Well, Randall McDaniel would be fine now. I mean, McDaniel was like 280 pounds. So 2 guys. Well, Randy Moss would be the easy answer. But you could think back. I mean, Ranieri, that left tackle spot would make sense. Hutch could play right now at his current age. Hutch and McDaniel would make sense, sure. Johnny Randall would be so damn legit. Like, as much love as Aaron Donald gets, I mean, Johnny Randall was that alpha. I mean, that undersized, quick penetrating 3-tech. God, Chris Dolman was so damn good too. Rest in power, by the way. So 2. I would actually take John Randall and Chris Dolman. Screw the offensive line. So just think about that. So you'd have Danielle Hunter, prime Chris Dolman, Hall of Famer, and as much hype as Lawrence Taylor got from the 80s, changing the blind side. I mean, Chris Dolman was a big part of that too. I mean, go back and read that chapter in The Blind Side about Chris Dolman and what he did to the Niners and how they had to react to things. So yeah, Dolman. Yeah, and we're just going to hunt. It's going to make everything easier up front. Yeah, we'll be soft against the run. Don't care. Try to throw the ball. You will die. Yeah. Sandra Salinger Skull. I just noticed the Packers are minus 20 million cap space, and Jones and Lindsley are running out of contracts. What do you think they will do with that issue? Let's see here. I think they might have to cut Preston Smith. I think they'll probably restructure Za'Darius. I think they'll let Lindsley and Aaron Jones walk, which is just so unfortunate. I think that they will extend Rodgers and freshen up that contract a bit, which actually could lead to him having a smaller cap hit in 2021. Yeah, but there's some changes coming with the Packers. You hate to see it. Yeah, what do you think? Skull 2021 was their year. Love channel. Keep it up. Hey, thank you. Gavino. I think it's 10 more times likely we draft Paxter 10 now that we got the new DB coach. Well, he'd have to get to 14. And even though Carl Scott, coached Bama cornerbacks for sure, I think it partly might be getting as much intel as on the other Bama guys. Like, he was in practice every single day. Like, he knew the locker room character of guys like Christian Barmore or Landon Dickerson or Alex Leatherwood as well, or Jalen Waddle. Oh, baby. Right. Now, if Jalen Waddle's on board at 14, I think the Vikings might take him. Legit. Pulford Skull. If we draft Ben Cleveland mid-rounds, we call it the Cleveland Show and signed. Is Ben a pulling guard? How would he fit in both run and pass blocking? Well, he's not the most fleet of foot, let's put it that way, but he does wear 360 pounds very well. He would be that right guard. You can move Ezra to left guard, which they do put more of a premium on left guard on movement skills, but they just planted Dakota Dozier there last year. But Cleveland has a great anchor, can get after it in run blocking as well. He can get second level. You're not going to want to pull him all the time. Like, that's not his strength. What his strength is, hey, run behind my ass and we'll get the inch that we need in Seattle, and then we'll move on with life. That's what he's going to bring to the table. Plus, I see a 3-year starter at Georgia. I want to say that he gave up 1 sack. It's pretty damn good. Playing in the SEC every single week. Pulford Skull. I might be lying, by the way. Pulford Skull. Actually, let's look it up. Make sure I'm not lying. We got technology and stuff. Let's see. Ben Cleveland. Georgia Bulldogs. Let's see. Ben Cleveland. Allowed pressures. All right, so he posted a 78.8 PFF grade, 86.2 in pass blocking. Yeah, he gave up 1 sack in 4 seasons, and that was as a redshirt freshman in 2017. He only gave up 6 pressures this season. Over the last 2 years, the starter gave up 13 total pressures in over 506 pass blocking snaps. So that's not bad. Pretty decent. Yeah. Next up. Let us know where you're watching from and give a couple shout outs. Let's see here. Next up. Landon. Bucks call you offer Brady, Gronk, Evans, and Antoine. Sue. Well, Sue's a free agent. 2 future 7s for Kirk, Jefferson. No. Also, with that many contracts moving back and forth, like, how F would the cap be? Be a lot of dead. So, but no. DP. You should do a video roasting one of your old mock drafts, like from 2020 or 2019 or so. Well, we could just do one where we're like sort of on Jefferson. We'll do it though. Shiver Timbers. I know that Quiddy Pay and Gregory Rousseau are great pass rushers, but I don't want to jump ship on DJ Wam just yet. Well, it's not like quarterback. I mean, these guys can all play together. They can all function together, whether it be kicking inside, whether it be in a rotation. So even if they're just getting 25, 30, 40 snaps a game, I mean, they can all significantly contribute. That's what's so much fun about a platoon of pass rushers. Just get it. A couple shout outs. Ira Coffin, Fayetteville, Arkansas. Pig Suey. Miles score from Denver. Sunshine State, gorgeous. What's the deal? Score from Philly. Philly. A Purple Rain, score from Wausau, Wisconsin. Are they going to take down the Doug Peterson statue? They got to stop putting up dumb statues, because they just take them down. Next up. Purple Rain, score from Wausau, Wisconsin. Did we say that? Sam Heckel, score from Nebraska. Patrick Harms, score from Cedar Rapids. Thanks for everything. Hey, thank you. Pulford Skull, Nashville, Tennessee. Hot Chicken. What's up? Samuel Salinger Skull from Austria. Shrimp on the Barbie. Jacob Mejia Megat, Oakdale. Eastern Burbs. Preacher Paul, hauling it for all y'all. Mount Hood, Oregon. Is in the hood. Landon Prepodnik, Ostigo, Minnesota, representing. Jabrisky Trempolo, what's up? Carl Johnson, score from Oslo, Norway. I used to know how to say hi, how you doing in Norwegian, but that escapes me now. Lefsa. Daniel Tuma, score from Maryland. Crab Cakes. Cam Ward, score from Montevideo, Minnesota. What's up? What is up? Thanks for coming along, guys. Are the best. Next up is MJ the GOAT. Quarterback controls the offensive. Herbert's so good. How come they were 7-9 and people keep saying so we're the Vikings, but JJ doesn't control the offense? That's a good point. And Chargers fans they're very adept at avoiding their hypocrisy and double standards. Yeah. Humble Beast Johnny. Can you predict? Oh, but like all the hate-filled comments that we got from Chargers fans, I guarantee you came from the same IP address. I mean, just the same dude, just like, it'd be funny though. Humble Beast Johnny, can you predict Viking starts for 2021 season? Quarterback Kirk, running back Dalvin, fullback CJ Ham, left tackle Riley Reif, left guard Ezra Cleveland, center Garrett Bradbury, right guard Landon Dickerson. Oh. Right tackle Brian O'Neill on a fatty extension. Tight ends Irv and Gronklin. Kyle Rudolph cut. Wide receivers Jefferson, Thielen, and I was going to say Dwayne Eskridge. Shy Smith, wide receiver 3. Edge rushers Danielle Wanham and Kwity Paye. Defensive tackle Aleem McNeil, James Lynch at 3-tech. Then nose tackle, you have Michael Pierce, Armand for Watts, and Tadaro Slayton. TJ, what's up? Linebacker, strong side, Anthony Barr. Middle linebacker, Eric Kendricks. Weak side linebacker, Troy Dye. Cornerbacks. Let's hear. Cornerbacks, what are you going to do? Dantzler, Gladney, Ambry Thomas from Michigan, Harrison Hand, safety, strong safety, Harrison Smith, free safety, Richie Grant from UCF. Plus, you have Tyree Gillespie from Mizzou and the Michigan guy. That's got to bug me. I feel like Josh Metellus. God, I'm so stupid. I couldn't remember Blake Brandel's name yesterday because we got so many damn free agent and draft names rolling around our head. Actually, I should say Kyle Big Hinton starting a right guard, but we shan't. Kicker, the Florida kicker, Evan McPherson, I think that's his name is. A punter, Marquette King. Woo! Let's go. Long snapper, who cares? Shiver Timbers. Seeing the Chiefs offensive line Super Bowl almost forced us to go offensive line in the first round, right? It's possible, or they could just look at all the injuries and be like, what happened to us? Yeah, they just got caught skinny dipping when the tide went out. Joseph Wiley, $2 in Super Chat. Good work, dude. Hey, thank you. Tristan Bailey. Sports wagering tips and tricks. Don't bet on every game. That's a sure sign of a loser. Get in when the lines are early. If you do want the side that's generally going to be getting points, but also think about where the public rube money is going to go, and sometimes it will push a line your way. NBA over-unders can be beat, but you do have to put in the work on it. Also, bet things that interest you. Like if you're going to a basketball game, if you're going to a baseball game, go ahead and bet on that. Especially a baseball game, go Pete Rose, just bet on that game. Because it gives you a little bit of juice. Also, the obvious ones of, don't bet beyond your means. Don't bet so much of your bankroll that's going to hurt. Don't do that either. And you have to decide like what your end goal is. Like, is it to have more money at the end of the season or the end of the quarter? Or you're just out there to have fun, take big swings. get in on like a 17-team parlay. If they hit it, awesome, even though the chances of you hitting it are nil. And also the payoff of you hitting it are not simpatico at all with the odds of it. So you got to ask yourself what you want to do. Is it for entertainment? Is it to make a little bit of money? Ira Coffin. Do you think a running back will be taken in the first round? Oh, also, so MMA betting lines. So that is one of the sports that the public is least knowledgeable of as of right now. We're talking about the general public. Like, we're not talking about like hardcore MMA dudes from back in the day. Like, we're talking about the casual ESPN audience. So you can find lines on guys where they're betting on the name brand. Like McGregor Poirier is a great example where Poirier, where hardcore guys certainly know him and respect him, but the general public were like, oh, he's the guy who's fighting Conor McGregor. That's why you saw the price on I forget what the price was at close, but the price on McGregor went way up, where the smart money was going on Poirier, and then they got paid off, right? And it's like it's another good example. Well, like if John Jones ended up fighting Stipe, where all the general public money is going to go on John Jones, whereas Stipe might be the most disrespected heavyweight champion of all time. Plus, I believe he has the record for most times defending the strap. So, Stipe is going to give John Jones some problems, right? So John Jones' length at heavyweight is going to be less than it was at light heavyweight. Plus Stipe, he doesn't give up anything on the ground. John Jones, yes, Greco-Roman, but talking about pure like on the ground wrestling, that's where Stipe makes his bones. That's where Stipe got Ngannou in trouble. That would be a great like the arbitrage, the value that you can get from betting smartly in MMA against public money at times makes a lot of sense. But other than that, I have no thoughts. Ira Coffin, do you think a running back will be taken in the first round? Yes, but late. I think Etienne. Well, Jets double dipping would make sense if they go Etienne or Najee Harris. But it's going to be tight. It's going to be pretty damn tight. I'm trying to think who else. Maybe Steelers. Like, running back is a low-key need for the Steelers because James Conner ain't cutting the mustard. Benny Snell is whatever. Hell, Big Ben comes back for 1 year. That offensive line is a mess, though. Oh, long story longer. Yes, I think one will be taken. Also, any glaring prospect you expect the Vikings to take? I don't think there's an obvious one. I know that the consensus, like to point out that the consensus, mock draft experts say, well, Rousseau. I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case, but I haven't fleshed out like a can't miss prospect that will certainly be there at 14 that the Vikings won't pass. Spartus JX. Starting to think our best chance of drafting a future quarterback in April will be Jamie Newman. What can tell us about him? Is he mobile? Is he a gunslinger? Where his qualities a weakness as well? He's got size, 6'4", I want to say he's 240. Yeah, let's look up Jamie Newman. Sorry. Well, he's listed at 229, but okay. Certainly has a strong arm. Mechanics do need an overhaul. Accuracy, he intermittently can make NFL big-time throws from his tape, but his draft position is going to be up in the air. Had a decent Senior Bowl week, but was an opt-out in 2020. He was going to be the Georgia quarterback, but that went to JT. But yeah, he played his college career at Wake Forest. That possibly could be a demerit, but I think you are betting on the tools as opposed to college production. Like, he does have decent mobility. He's not Justin Fields out there, but as a developmental guy that you take a fourth round and you sit him for 2 years, all in. Absolutely all in. I do like his upside more than Kellen Mond. I do like his upside more than Kyle Trask. But we'll see. Joey Pesek. Should Belichick be on the hot seat after Brady win the Super Bowl? No. I don't think that I don't think that Kraft could ever fire Belichick. Even though Belichick is getting up there in age, by the way. Hayden Ziegler. Looking back, what would you grade Anthony Barr's pick in 2014? Saw a B+. Yeah, Pro Bowler, team captain, does a lot of the dirty work on the Vikings defense. Doesn't always get the recognition he deserves from fans as well as from PFF. But, I mean, you saw the stark difference of that defense when he went out. Patrick Harms. I'm really leaning towards Surtain Jr. at 14 for many reasons. Talented kid. I don't think he'll make it to 14. Ezekiel Lockhart. Is it too early for me to order a customized Minshew 16 Vikings jersey? Yeesh. Samson Romain. Would you do a mock draft where you pick just defensive players or just offensive players? Yeah, I'm sure we will. When we'll run out of ideas pretty soon. Patrick Harms. What kind of offense is Clint going to bring? Well, that's really up in the air because you would think it would be similar to the Pops offense, a West Coast movement-based scheme. But, I mean, what is he going to bring? Like, is he going to be as fervently stuck to running the ball as Pops was? Is he going to be more apt to throw it? Since he was the quarterback's coach, he does know Kirk Cousins' strengths and weaknesses. He was a wide receiver coach back in the day. So will he lean more towards the passing game? I don't know. It is really up in the air. And that's actually kind of fun because you don't know what's brewing inside that mind of the 33-year-old. Stefanski with the Browns, where he did come from a running-based West Coast scheme with the Vikings, and that's what he brought to the table. But you remember that he survived the Norv regime, so he's got some Air Coryell flavor, put into his scheme with the Browns. Plus, I mean, he adapted his scheme to his talent. Like he had Chubb and Hunt, and they signed Conklin, they drafted Jedrick Wills, and they ran the piss out of the football, and it brought out the best in Baker. God, what are we spacing on names today? I don't know. Chris Danny Hansen, what will it take for the Vikings to get the respect they deserve or they never get it? Win 5 Super Bowls. Yeah. Landon Prepodnik. Did you see Ellen Page made a children's book? No. Colin Andrist. I would personally like the Rousseau pick because Patterson can really develop guys with the right physicals into beasts. I would be okay with it. I'm not in love with it, given the composition of the rest of the defensive line class and other potential names there at 14. Colin Andrus, you should try the most random draft on PFF Mock Draft Simulator. Take care for positional value. Yeah, we'll do that in a couple weeks. Miles, how good do you think the O-line will be next year? I think they have a chance to be the best in the league, where they'll probably retain Reef at left tackle, just is what it is. But he's got that veteran competency. Brian O'Neill is quickly emerging as one of the best right tackles in the game. Ezra Cleveland and Garrett Bradbury, another year to add size because they know the problems. They know what is that issue. It isn't a lack of knowledge. It isn't a lack of this and that. It isn't getting confused by stunts. That was Dakota Dozier. It's raw horsepower. Like, that's what you need. You got to add to that ass. And if they get Joe Thuney at left guard, or they just draft Beef in the middle rounds, let's go. Westworld. Thoughts on journalists calling the Kubiak hire a case of nepotism? Well, it isn't like Clint Kubiak isn't putting in that work. It's not like he didn't put in time at Kansas and Denver and 2 years as a quarterbacks coach here with the Vikings. So it's not like Gary Kubiak is like, hey, hire my son who's selling cars at, I don't know, Car Soup. All of a sudden he's going to be a offensive coordinator. No, yes, your last name does help you get in the door, except if you can't bring it, you don't have staying power, you don't stick around. I mean, look at Dave Shula, or Dave Shula was a head coach of the Bengals, but just simply couldn't bring it, but his namesake kept him in the door. I think that he's managing like steakhouses now, or to a degree. So no, it's not a case of nepotism. You're hiring the 2-year quarterbacks coach where Kirk Cousins played some of the best ball of his career. That's what you're doing. Football Talk US. Will Danielle hold true to his word on either getting paid highest edge rusher or forcing a trade? I think he would, but I think the Vikings will be apt to take care of him. I think that they'll get something done. Michael Merchant Robbles, who's the best O-line in the upcoming free agency? Well, Trent Williams, if he hits free agency. Joe Thuney, for sure. Brandon Scherf, if he hits free agency. Corey Lindsley, respect, center for the Packers, even though he's a little bit older. I believe he's 30. Icy Blue, 25-25. Chicken wings or pizza? I would take pizza because we could cheat around this, because just do chicken thighs up like you would do wings. As like, you just get more wings. And what's your thoughts on Super Bowl and who is the greatest tight end ever in position? I thought it was an ass whooping, but we foresaw it coming, based on Patrick Mahomes' toe as well as the offensive line. And like we said, like the Bucs defense is legit, absolutely legit. I think Tom Brady deserved MVP, but it was definitely a team effort. Plus, man, that Bucs offensive line was good. Greatest side ever, Gronk. Where you combine Gronk's stats, that already makes him the greatest, but the fact that he has been a phenomenal blocker, I think that's the most underrated part of his game, is that he is willing and he's got the skill set to be just a great blocker year in, year out. So for me, it's Gronk. Number two, I guess I go Tony Gonzalez. Number three, Ditka. Yeah, I go Ditka. I give Ditka the edge over, say, who would we say? Say Ozzie. Say Kent State. Sure. Yeah. Chris Danny Hansen. Would you move Danielle to the blind side? Well, when Everson had his thing in 2018, they did move Danielle to the blind side, but that might be more that Stephen Weatherly was more comfortable on the left side as opposed to the right side than it said anything about Danielle. But yeah, Danielle will make hay no matter where he goes. Now, if they do get a guy like Kwity Paye, where his size and stoutness would make him a better asset on the left side, maybe you would move Danielle to the right side. It's possible. DP, who replaces Dan Bailey next year? The Florida kicker. MIT 03. Does Dan Chisena have a future as kick returner? He has the speed now, and he's the willingness to die. I don't know if he can catch, because you would think that they would have tried it at Penn State. You think that they would have tried it in training camp this year. I don't know if he can catch. Bruce Robinson Jr. Who's one big free agent you would like the Vikings to get? Well, if you're going to spend the money, go get Joe Thuney. Rock star right away at left guard, and that solves a major issue as you head into the draft right away. Michael Miller, your prediction. Do you think we'll trade first Cousin? No, I don't think they will. Westworld, how far will Carson Wentz take the Bears? Straight to 8-8 if everything goes well. What's the deal, Lance or Parsons? Trey Lance. Corn, which year would you have rather won the Super Bowl, 98 or 09, and why? Well, I guess 09 because, I was going to say 09 because then you have the pain of 98 baked in. But, 98 was the 98 Vikings. That was supposed to be our version of the 85 Bears. We have this phenomenal team out of nowhere, lightning strikes. Like, that was supposed to be it. Like, that was supposed to be our 85 Bears. That was supposed to be our 2000. That was supposed to be our greatest show on turf, 99, ironically. So, yeah, I guess 98. Miles. Who will improve more next year, Gladney or Dantzler? I would say Dantzler, even though Dantzler's already coming in at a higher plane than Gladney, even though El Jefe will certainly hold things down in the slot. Robert Barweiler. Who is our best shot at quarterback of the future in the third round this year? Third round? Probably Jamie Newman. I'm betting on his traits more than Kyle Trask, even though, yes, I understand that Kyle Trask put up Lulu numbers in the SEC. Just traits-wise, just betting on arm talent, just betting on accuracy, I'll go Jamie Newman. Max Kallenberg, Patrick Peterson, Aaron. Yeesh. Steps remain, same question. Yeesh. Sam Olsen, who do you like in free agency and in the draft at quarterback? Well, the latter, Jamie Newman, 3rd, 4th round. Ian Book, 6th, 7th round. Free agency at quarterback? I don't know, Brandon Allen. Yeah, Brandon Allen. I know the easy answer is Mariota, except he's under contract. I don't think the Raiders will part with him. I think you'll have to trade for him. Other than that, RG3 for funniness, because that'd be funny to me. Minshew's not a free agent, but you'd have to trade for him. Well, they might cut him. C. Klein Skull from Panama. What up, Panama? Sam Rosado Skull, perfect offseason. Pay cuts for Barr, Rudy, and Kirk. Restructure Kendrick Thielen. Cut Reef, Bailey, and Steffen. Resign Harris, Wilson, Danielle. Extend Danielle. Sign Shelby Harris, Joe Thuney. Draft Wyatt Davis. Do you agree? Love Channel Skull. I would cut Rudy. I don't know if Kirk will take a pay cut. I'm fine letting Harris walk, especially given the price tag. Same thing with Wilson, too. But other than that, we're in the ballpark. Michael Merchant Robbles. Who was better this season, Gladney or Dantzler guarding wide receivers? Dantzler by far. Like Dantzler, you can make a good case that Dantzler was the best rookie cornerback. Straight up was. Like Dantzler, Jalen Johnson, put Terrell up there, put Henderson before he got hurt. Actually, all these guys got hurt. It's kind of crazy. I mean, Akuda got hurt too. Like, what was it with the rash of rookie cornerback injuries? Like, no one stayed healthy. Kind of funny. But that's it. That is the Daily Jeromes live stream for the day. Thank you very much for coming along. You guys are the best. Subscribe for Daily Vikings takes, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Skol.